Welcome to the winter meetings in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Jason Mastronato, Scott Lauber, the beat reporters for the Boston Herald, and the Red Sox have made a trade today. They sent Wade Miley to the Seattle Mariners in exchange for a really high-quality setup man, Carson Smith, and some starting depth with Roenis Elias. And Scott, is this the trade that you expected the Red Sox to make, unloading from their starting pitching depth since they acquired Demon?
Yeah, it is. It's exactly what they said they were going to do. I mean, Dave Dombrowski said we've got some starter depth, and to his credit, he didn't waste any time. We're halfway through the first day of the winter meetings, and he's already made that trade. So he fills a need by trading from a surplus, and as you mentioned, he gets Carson Smith, who helps out in the late innings as a guy who can pitch the seventh, sometimes even the eighth if Koji needs a break or a rest, and that's something they really needed. They really needed to extend their bullpen depth. They really needed to get another arm there, and it's a trade that I'm not sure they make a few years ago. If you're Dave Dombrowski, you mentioned that you have a closer, you have a setup man, you have another setup man in Junichi Tazawa, and that's about it. You don't need more. Nowadays, you kind of do. The Royals prove that. And the good teams prove that you can't have enough depth in that bullpen.
And I didn't think they had enough before this trade. I think they had to add one more big guy to that bullpen, and now they have the options that they need. And if you look at the roster, really, from top to bottom, they boosted their starting rotation. They got rid of the excess depth. They saved themselves $6 million this year by getting rid of Miley. And their offense that scored 5.3 runs per game over the last 2 months of the season is pretty much intact. Is this roster, do you think, set to compete in 2016?
I think it's pretty close. Look, I wouldn't rule anything out. I think, I've said all along, I thought Dombrowski may have another trick or two up his sleeve. He pulls off that trade today. So it wouldn't stun me if they went out and did something else. But look, he was very clear when he was asked today, are you happy with this roster? Would you go into the season with this roster? He said, yes, I am. And I think I take him at that because, they've really addressed all their needs. We'll finish on this. Let me ask you this. Miley was the guy who I think all along most of us thought they would trade because of the salary and because of their depth and all that, and the fact that he was attractive to other teams. Did they trade the right starter? Should they have maybe traded Kelly or Buchholz, or was Miley the guy?
I think so. I think Miley was the guy because you save $6 million. Buchholz would have saved you more, but his upside is what you need. I think when you have a starting rotation with the depth that the Red Sox have, you are going for upside now because you want to have the best possible guys. A 200 innings eater like Wade Miley is valuable, but when you have 8 starters who are capable of doing that in some way, maybe not one guy, but if 2 or 3 guys can do that, I think you're safe there. So you don't need a 200 innings eater like Miley.
I personally don't love trading 200 innings, but Buchholz you were going to trade low because he wasn't healthy last year, and he's never healthy really, and Kelly still has upside. So to me, Miley was the guy that had to go. Anyway, for Jason Mastronato, I'm Scott Lauber of the Boston Herald, and we'll check in with you again tomorrow here from Nashville.